This is episode 1 of the Educator Exchange, a place where we like to talk about all things education involving students, parents, teachers, and educational leaders. I am one of your co-hosts, Dr. Eldred Nunnally.
And I'm Dr. Corey Williams, and the three values of the Educator Exchange are: parents are our students' first teachers, teachers have the biggest effect on student success, and leaders are responsible for the success of a school building.
With the number one goal always being
All students can learn.
So, first off, I just want to say congratulations to us.
Yes, first episode, man.
Not only the first episode, but getting these doggone doctors.
Exactly. I was happy about that.
Man, I remember when you called us. Who was it? Me, you, and JP?
Right.
Dr. Jason Patterson. Shout out to that guy.
Yes.
I remember when you called us back in 2016, it was, right?
Right.
And you said, hey, let's get doctorates. And I was like, Corey, I hate school.
Exactly.
And you said, well, why just can't we get doctorates? Because everybody else is getting them.
Right.
We're going to be successful. We're going to be great in education.
Right.
Let's just go ahead and get these and stamp our name. And I was just like, Corey, I hate school.
Exactly.
And then you talked me into it, and now here we are. So,
Exactly. Happy that we got that.
yeah,
Shout out
man.
to Georgia State, too.
Georgia State University, Ed Lee, buddy.
Yes.
All right, so let's go ahead and get with our first topic
Yeah.
of our podcast series in the Educator Exchange. Today's topic is going to be what to do during the first 10 days of school. What are your thoughts on that, Dr. Williams?
All right, so first I'm going to start from the teacher perspective. A teacher needs to build relationships with students. Many of our students haven't been in the building for a year and a half because of COVID. They're going to be coming back to where they've been doing online and virtual learning, and they have to transition back into the school building with rituals, procedures, and just know how to be a student in the school building. So the most important thing during our kids leaving COVID and just in general is build those relationships. A student has to trust you as a teacher to be able to teach them. As a teacher, you have to be able to know your student, to be able to adjust your instruction, or to be able to reach a student and understand that if they're not understanding, how can I get to this kid to make them want to learn, to make them really have that fire and engagement in my classroom. As a parent, I want you to have patience with our teachers as we get to adjust where our students are being in virtual for a year and a half. And as a leader, we have to put systems in place to make sure that we have an inviting culture, that our students are engaged, and our teachers are really there to help and support our students.
Now, hold on. Now, while I do also agree with the relationship piece, because I'm big on building relationships in my school, at any school I've ever been to,
Right.
I also think that the aspect of providing procedures that are concrete are equally as important.
That's true.
Just because on day one, everybody has to know the expectation.
Right.
When I was teaching, I told all of my kids, especially my AP students, this is not going to be a class that is going to be the best and most fun class initially.
Right.
Now, once you learn the system, right, of my classroom, then by September, you will be fine. And kids just go, no, Mr. Nunnally, it's not like that. No, you'll be fine. And what ended up happening, by September, they were okay because they adhered to the procedures and everything we had in place. It also kept me good with parents as well, because I told parents early on inside of my curriculum what the expectations for the students on my end were, what their expectations of me could be, and we just established those early on. Same thing with my administrators, and I do that as an administrator as myself. I like to establish those rules and expectations so that way everybody's in the clear.
Right. And I believe in those rules and expectations and procedures also. And I think this needs to be a combination of both, where I am purposely having procedures to build relationships. Because even though you can have those procedures, does it seem like, yeah, we have procedures for A, you go here, B, you go here, and there's no differentiation for the many kids. Even though you have 30 kids in your classroom and they're coming from the same community, every individual kid is different.
So then my question to you is, because you just said that, because it seems like you're playing both sides of the fence now.
Yes.
And you know you can't do that.
Oh,
I
yes,
need you.
I absolutely
I
can.
need you to pick one, sir.
I absolutely
I
can.
need you to pick one now.
I
Which
feel
one?
that building relationships is the most important part, and that you need to have procedures, but you can teach procedures. It is hard to teach someone to build relationships if they do not have a burning desire to do it, or they're not a person that have those people skills to want to reach out to people to build relationships. Because I feel is on the teacher as the adult to reach out to the student to build those relationships.
So you think it's harder to teach someone how to build relationships
Absolutely.
than it is to teach someone procedures, effective procedures?
Absolutely. Because protective procedures can be, you need to do step 1, 2, 3, 4 to build a relationship. To tell a teacher how to build a relationship with student A versus student B is dependent on the personality and that student building that relationship. There could be this one student that's really involved in anime and cartoons and different things. So it's like, all right, I need to ask them. It's like, hey, what are you drawing? Hey, what do you like to do? Asking about them. There's another student that's really just engaged in the content and math nerdy stuff. So you're talking about the content, what you're going to be teaching later. Hey, doing this stuff. So you have to be able to reach out and say, I have to have and initiate a conversation with the student to figure out what's ticking. What is something I can take that's a hanging carrot to get them to say that, oh, this teacher actually cares about me. Wow, they care about more than just what the grade is, what the quiz is going to be. And also, do they care about me if I'm even not doing good in the class? Because as a teacher, I want you to care about the student, and your caring is not dependent on their grade.
You know what? I don't fully disagree with you in a lot of what you just said. But one of the things that we do have as teachers that we think about, as teachers and leaders, is the end result for student success and student achievement.
Right.
And relationships does have a big hand in that. Mm-hmm. Establishing procedures does have a big hand in that. And both can lead to lesser stress. Yeah. But that's really, really tough. Like, that's a tough one. Now, I tell my teachers, some of the teachers in my school building that I have, especially like the teachers that are novice teachers. Right. If you can build relationships with kids, then I can teach you how to be a teacher all day long. Because I do feel like building relationships is much harder because it requires you to come out of your comfort zone a lot more, and you have to speak more. Like when I was teaching, I used to always stand at my door, of course, to make sure that the security portion of it was great, of course, to monitor. But my biggest thing was I wanted to read the temperature of every single kid that walked in. So I can intervene before they even stepped in my classroom. And not intervene in a negative way. Right. But it was just, hey, Corey, how you doing? If I saw that you looked any way other than what I knew you, or especially the first day, if I saw that you may have been down or you may have been overactive or something, it'll just lead me to have a conversation just to get to know you so I can know how I can best respond to you and your needs.